Okay, so I just want to start this video off by saying I actually like the look of the Switch and I'm going to get one on launch, but far out did Nintendo do some things that I just don't understand. So here's some of the things I hate about the Switch. Or the Nintendo Switch, because you know, Nintendo has to brand everything with a name at the start of it. Number 1, paid online. So you probably saw this one coming from a million miles away, but Nintendo of all companies asking for people to pay for their online services is pretty laughable. Now you may be thinking, don't Sony and Microsoft also charge for their online services? And yes, you have a point, but they also have good online. I mean, there's still some things in the original Xbox Live that was released in 2002 that Nintendo has not implemented yet. The point then comes up that maybe Nintendo might be able to improve their online services if they started charging per month. And while this may be true, Sony was able to demonstrate they were able to handle online capabilities before charging. In fact, Sony edged their way into charging by providing a service called PlayStation Plus, where they provided free games per month. Microsoft then followed suit by providing free games per month as well on their Xbox Live service. So how's Nintendo responding to this with their huge back catalogue of games? Well, they will give you a free NES or SNES game a month that you get to keep for the month and you have to return after that. That's fantastic. Round of applause for Nintendo on this one, yeah! That's not even to mention that if you're a Nintendo fan, you probably already own these games anyway. You can only play Super Mario Bros. So many times. But not to worry, because Nintendo has got us all covered. They're giving the service away for free until fall. That's not to mention that the only thing you can actually do in that time is play online, so you're not going to get any free NES or SNES games. And that's not to mention it's probably going to be buggy as, because really they're using it to test, it's not for your convenience. And guess how many online games there are going to be until that trial expires? The answer is not many. Number 2, motion controls. Now there's nothing inherently wrong with motion controls, in fact they work really well in Splatoon, but the way that Nintendo's pushing it doesn't exactly rub me the right way. It just feels like Nintendo's chasing after what they had with the Nintendo Wii, and that's kind of long gone now. The audience that Nintendo had on the Wii has now moved over to smartphones and tablets, and I mean, to use all the features of the Switch, you have to have a smartphone or a tablet, so why would you get a Switch in the first place if you're that audience? It just doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know anyone that's excited about waggle controls. Again. Thing is, one of the games they showed off for the Switch that used motion controls is ARMS, but you can play that game using buttons, so that just makes me think that they're just remapping motion controls to gamepad buttons, and well then what's the point at that point? It also doesn't help that when they demonstrated 1-2-Switch on one of their live streams, that one of the people playing the game couldn't get the eating game to work at all, and they had to switch over to someone else to play the eating game for her. I mean, this is in a controlled environment, so I'm kind of concerned how it's going to work in the real world. Not to mention that minigame just looks really stupid in its own right. I mean, try making those mouth expressions as fast as possible. It's not the most enjoyable thing I've ever done. Again, I said this before, but I just want to make clear that I'm not bashing motion controls altogether. They can be used in some situations effectively, like I said before, Splatoon, but the way that Nintendo's pushing it makes me feel like they're trying to hold on to what they had with the Wii, which just I don't think is going to work. Number 3, no packaged game. So for the last 2 Nintendo home consoles, we've had a packaged game. We've had Wii Sports, and we've had Nintendo Land. I guess you could say that Nintendo Land only came with the 32GB, but they also marketed that version of the console as a cheaper alternative, so it made sense in that case. I don't know, I just don't think it's that hard to just package in 1-2-Switch. I mean, who's going to buy that game anyway? I mean, you could use this as sort of a marketing strategy. You package in 1-2-Switch, everyone goes to their friends, they use it with their friends. Their friends are like, oh man, I want a Switch now, and they buy it, and so on and so forth. They show it to their friends, and their friends are like, yeah, I want to buy a Switch too. While we're on the topic, can I just say that Nintendo wants to charge $70 for 1-2-Switch where I live. For $20 more, I could get Zelda. I wonder which one I'm going to pick. Number 4, the price. Okay, so the price of the Switch is $299 in the US or $470 here. And you know what, at first this might not seem so bad, it seems kind of reasonable. $470 for a handheld system that's also a console. Yeah, that seems alright, but then you compare it to the competition. And then you find out you can get an Xbox One for $399 with 2 included games, so I've been told $250 US for a console with 1 included game. Take note, Nintendo, included games. I mean, you could make the argument that, hey, those are just consoles, you can't take them anywhere. Well, I could also make the argument that the Switch doesn't have any multimedia capabilities, which the Xbox One and PS4 does, so you've also got value there as well. I also heard the argument made that, well, the Xbox One cost $500 at launch, or $599 here. And yes, while that is true, that was 3 years ago. The Switch is being launched this year, not 3 years ago. If it was 3 years ago, then yeah, sure, you would have a point, but it's not going up against an Xbox One in 2013. I mean, using that same logic, I could say that the Switch is pretty valuable because the Sega Saturn launched at $399, but that's 20 years ago. Now, do I think the launch price is unreasonable? Personally, no, but you're trying to convince other people here to buy it, and well, it's just going to be a bit hard compared to the Xbox One and PS4. Why would they buy the Switch over those two systems? Now, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but one of the devs working on a Switch game has said that Nintendo has got the price high enough where they can mark it down later and still make a profit. Which, you know, is a common business strategy. You make it higher first and you lower it down later, so you get the people that are going to buy it at the high price to buy it at that price and get more money from them, and then slowly mark it down so later people that weren't going to buy it at the price will buy it then. And while I get that, I feel like after the Wii U, Nintendo should just try to get as many people as possible while still making a profit. Otherwise, we could get a situation similar to the 3DS where 2 months later they're like, oh man, we're sorry we made it that expensive. Hey, let's take off $50 and give all the people that had it first some NES games they already own. And then after that, the president of Nintendo will take a salary drop. Knowing Nintendo, they'll probably make it the same NES games as well. Number 5, the smartphone app for voice chat. So Nintendo's pretty much already done everything but fully confirmed that most of your online service will be done through their smartphone app, which is, you know, just fantastic. Reggie's come out in interviews and said, oh, we're going to use the smartphone app for everything from matchmaking to voice chatting, because, you know, who wants to wear those very clunky gamer headsets? I mean, am I right, guys? Am I right? Yeah. Never mind, you could just put a mic in the controller, you know, like you did with the Wii U. You know that system that you kind of like to regret? If we're going to go back in time, I mean, even the Famicom had a mic. We're going that far back. I don't know, I just feel like in some ways this is a step down from what the Wii U had. I mean, you had a friends list on the Wii U. If you look at the screenshot of the OS from the Treehouse video, you can see that there's no friends list or anything of that sort on the picture. So that and what Reggie has said in interviews has led me to believe that literally everything online is going to be done through the smartphone app, which does not make me feel good at all. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope the smartphone app is just an accessory to the Switch. I hope the Switch has a friends list on the actual Switch. I hope it has a mic on the actual Switch. I hope you can plug in a headset, which there are some headsets coming out, but knowing Nintendo, that could mean literally nothing. From a technical standpoint, I can understand why they've done this. I mean, you don't have to have a process in the background always checking for when your friends come on and all that stuff. You just run that over to the smartphone, but at the same time, it's just so outdated. It just feels like a complete step down, and they want you to pay for this. You know what else I've got on my phone, Nintendo? Skype, Discord, a phone. What makes you think I want to pay to talk to my friends online using your service when I can just get it for free other ways? In fact, from your last few systems, you've conditioned us to do this anyway, so. Number 6, the storage. Well, it's been confirmed that the Switch only has 32GB of storage. Thing is, we'll complain about 32GB of storage on the Wii U when that came out. I mean, I could understand if they had variations of it, so maybe one had 64 and one had 128, but no, 32 is the only one you can get. Keep in mind, Zelda Breath of the Wild is 14GB, so you can install that twice on your Switch. What a world we live in when you can install 2 games on your device. On the plus side, however, they're actually letting us expand the storage using micro SD cards, which is more than I could say for the Vita, which makes you purchase their own proprietary stuff. Number 7, they've dropped Miiverse. Remember how I said this feels like a step down from the Wii U in terms of online capabilities? Well, they've dropped Miiverse now too! I collected all those years for nothing. While this isn't the biggest thing, I actually quite liked Miiverse. It was quite refreshing. But the worst thing about it is, What are those Twitter accounts that post weird Miiverse posts gonna do? I guess it's not so much Miiverse itself that I quite liked, it's more the integration into games, where in Splatoon you could see Miiverse posts on the wall, in Wind Waker you saw bottles in the ocean. Splatfest will never be the same without those Miiverse posts on the wall, and I blame it all on Marie for winning the last Splatfest. Number 8. Third party support. There is none. No, but in all seriousness, I'm pretty sure they showed off less third party games this time than what they showed off of the Wii U when that was announced. And I just love how they came out with pretty much the same picture they did last time of all the third party companies that are on board with the Switch, because you know they were totally on board with the Wii U. Besides Ubisoft, they've always got to release a Just Dance on the Wii U every year.